Show you a little tip for how to join your yarn. This is quite useful if you realise halfway along a row that you haven't got enough yarn in your ball to finish the row. Ideally you want to start and end balls of yarn at the beginning and end of the row, but sometimes that's not possible. This tip works with animal fibre yarns, so wool and alpaca. As long as there's a fairly high proportion of wool or alpaca in your yarn, it can still be a mix, it should work. The thing to watch out for though is that it really only works on hand wash yarns. This is because superwash yarns, which are the kind of yarns you can put in the machine, have been treated with a chemical, and that chemical stops this trick from working. So you want to look for hand wash yarns when you do this little trick. It's called splicing, the clue's in the name, but we're going to do it a slightly more dignified way using a glass of water. What you need to do first, you take your two yarn ends and you're going to fray both of them slightly. I'm just using a needle here to make it easier. You can actually cut away half of the thickness of the yarn at each end if you're being kind of fussy and perfectionist, but for the purposes of demonstrating I'm not going to do that. If you've got very thick yarn though, it is worth cutting away some of the plies, otherwise you'll end up with a kind of lump where you've joined them. So now I've got my two frayed ends and I'm going to dip them both in the water. There's one, there's the other. They don't have to be really wet, they just have to be a bit damp. Squeeze them out a bit. So now I've got these two damp ends of yarn and I'm going to lay them over each other in the palm of my hand and kind of mesh the plies together a bit so that they're intermingling. Now this is where the properties of the hand wash yarn take effect, because what you're trying to do is felt the two ends together, and that's why it won't work if you've got a yarn that's suitable for machine washing. All you do is take your other hand, maybe make it a bit wetter so you've got lots of moisture there, and the heat and the moisture combined with friction when you rub your two hands together will magically join the two ends of yarn together. So here we go. So just rub your hands together and you can see that's starting to work already. Rub a bit more. You might get a kind of bobbly bit, so just rub that bit. Keep rubbing. And eventually you'll find that your two ends of yarn have joined together, and I'm pulling that really quite hard and it's completely joined. So that's how you use split splicing.